What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today we're going to talk about Polaris, a character that everybody will be able to get 10 bios from the future past, and they should be able to use a Mega Rank Up ticket to go ahead and level her up, and I would highly advise everybody to do that because this is going to be a godsend character for your mutant allies because she's an amazing support. She is a somewhat strong character, but she's really not as OP as what we would really like to see, even for a character that is a paywall, right? I really do think that they should have gave her a little bit more aesthetically, guys. Just like I said in the previous video, she is gorgeous, just beautiful. I mean, thick, guys. She is so thick, just absolutely lovely. And I love this emerald green that she has around her. It's just so gorgeous. I really can't say enough, honestly, about the aesthetics of Polaris. I think she looks amazing. Now, as far as the build, guys, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a little comparison because it seems like Marvel Future Fight, has been a little bit shadow nerfed. It seems like some characters just, I don't really know, aren't doing as much damage as what they were before. So to put things in perspective, I'm actually going to show you the damage of Polaris compared to Kamala Khan. And we're actually going to be putting Kamala Khan at quite a few disadvantages in some ways, maybe not. It's not exactly a fair comparison, guys, but you'll get the drift of how strong Polaris actually is. Now, Polaris is a very easy character to play, and her survivability is decent, but I do think at high levels, especially if there's toxic meteorites lying around, she could die pretty quick. I mean, it remains to be seen, but I was lucky enough to get this character to tier 3 the very first day. I got her potential already raised up, which was pretty damn awesome. And if you guys look at my details, it's nothing really special, right? Her attack speed, critical rates max out. Her critical damage is only at 150%, and her ignore defense is at 46%. This isn't really that bad a deal. It's just a little bit below 50%, so it's pretty much okay. She does have the energy projection, but guess what? So does Iron Man, who is a blast character, which is a requirement, I think, for Null. And no, or maybe it was for Ultron, I can't remember. And then you have fast movement here, right? She doesn't have the leadership tag, which Kamala does, right? I just want to throw that out there. You see she has 54,000 energy attack. I don't have any Arus, guys, all right? And her skills are all at 6. Now, her tier 3 is pretty damn fantastic because you can actually cancel this thing. It gives her an increase of all attack by 50% that lasts for 10 seconds and a critical rate by 35%. That is nice. You really want to give the girl a critical damage obelisk would be really the best way to go for her, or a CTP of energy, or a mighty or a CTP of destruction. Those are going to be the best. A rage would be really nice because if you want to get a few more hits from her third skill, having a rage would benefit her quite a bit, but I'm not really sure which would be better. We've really found in world boss content, at least, that the CTP of energy and definitely the destruction, when you have a certain amount of pierce, is going to do better than the rage generally, except for maybe like on maybe certain tier 4 characters, right? But she's not a tier 4, so we can't really put that in there. We can't really apply that method to her. Her passive, with the increased basic damage of supervillains, is insane for mutants. And then her 1 or 2 is, kind of whatever. The 3 does give her damage accumulation, which is nice. You can cancel the skill immediately. But again, if you want to get a few more hits out of this thing, and it will trigger a proc early if you're using a regular proc, but if you're using a CTP of Rage, it would be fine. And then she does have immunity on the 4th skill, and you can cancel the skill almost immediately. And then the 5th skill does give her invincibility, which does help her keep from getting guard broken. The 20% heal is nice, but they really should have gave her a 30% heal. That would have been way better because you will find with toxic meteorites, she can take a good amount of damage, guys. She can take a lot of damage, even with her decreased basic damage received from her passive. She can still take a lot of damage, and her damage proc is on the skill, and this is really where you want to put her damage proc. Right, the passive here, 10% chance to absorb energy damage. All basic attacks increased by 5%. Absorption is nice. It really does add her damage. The decreased base damage received by 25%. Again, it's good for her survivability, but I really, again, think they should have gave her a little bit better heal. Her leadership only applies to mutants, which does kind of suck. It only applies to mutants to increase all basic attack by 45%. And this is really going to come into play, guys, with what you're going to see in this comparison here in a little bit. Now, I've already talked about her skills, but I'm going to talk about her rotation a little bit because I've actually been playing around with her rotation. And what I found, guys, as far as her rotation, God, I just love these skills. What I found her rotation, if you just go 2, 1, 3, 4, slight delay on the 4, and then go into the 5, you're going to build up your tier 3 a whole lot faster. And then what you can do is, if you want, you can go 21534 delay tier 3, right? You can put the proc on the tier 3. However, what I would recommend you guys do is cancel your tier 3. You can cancel her tier 3 immediately. You'll actually do more damage, as I will show you guys in a little bit. So again, the rotation would be 2134 delay 5. Very slight delay, guys, like half a second, if even that, right? And then you could go 2134 tier 3 5, right? That's going to be the best way to go for her damage. And she plays really, really well with the proc. In the run you guys are going to see, I think I missed proc once or twice, but overall, she really lands proc pretty damn well, especially if you're pretty quick and really good at seeing her skills. Her skills are extravagant, just totally gorgeous, right? I don't have her type enhancement up, and we just got a stage 6 power bang rehawk set. She doesn't have her artifact, and we just got a critical rate with 110% of proc. Right, now this would be better if it was a critical damage proc, because she really doesn't need the critical rate because she gets a nice critical rate buff from her skills. But still, it's all right. Now, what I want to show you guys is the fact that I'm going to be using a certain team composition for you. So let me jump into World Boss and show you exactly what we're going to be doing here. Okay, so in World Boss, we're going to do a little comparison against Null Stage 25, where you need females. And I'm going to do one run with this team up. Now, remember, guys, she has a self-buffing leadership, and she has the increased basic damage to supervillains by 45%. On top of that, she's getting Waves 50% damage to supervillains, and she's getting Shuri's 50% damage to supervillains. That is massive. Huge, huge buffs. In the other run that I'm going to show you guys, I'm actually going to show you, like with Kamala, okay? Right? We're going to put Kamala in here. And Kamala, guys, I'll show you the build here in a second. Kamala doesn't have a damage proc on her, okay? She doesn't have a damage proc on her. So let me see if I can find her really quick. Here we go. She doesn't have a damage proc on her whatsoever. Now, she does have a fully awakened power bang rock set. She does have Urus, but keep in mind that I have 100% physical attack, which this character is on my card set, and I have 120% energy attack. So Polaris is already getting 20% more energy attack. It's really making up the difference as far as not having Urus, and the fact that Kamala doesn't even have an obelisk, right? And Kamala is not a mutant. She will not benefit from Polaris's leadership. She's not going to benefit from it. All she's going to get from this little team up is the buff from Shuri. That's all she's going to get. She's going to get the buff from Shuri, but she's not going to get this at all. And this is going to show you guys just how strong like Polaris really is compared to her. And I'm doing it this way because, again, it looks like the game's been shadow nerfed a little bit, so I would just want to put things in perspective and compare to an OP character like Kamala, okay? All right, so I'm going to bring up the run for you guys right now, and this is a run with Kamala with no obelisk whatsoever. And remember, she is not benefiting from Polaris' leadership. All she's getting is Shuri's support passive. That's all she's getting. No obelisk, right? Nothing, right? And 20% less physical attack than energy attack on my card. And as you guys will see, right? I'm not, we don't really need to watch this whole thing. We've seen Kamala 20 million times. I'm going to kind of speed it up a little bit, kind of get to the gist of it here, get to the end here. Okay, and here we go, right? And as you guys can see, right, it's taking a good while, right? Now, believe me, Kamala could smash through this thing, absolutely destroy it, put a proc on her, so freaking melted. She's insane, right? Just an OP free-to-play character, right? And we're just about there. So pretty much in about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, she was able to do the first phase. I want you to remember that number, about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, okay? Now, when we go to this next run, I'm going to show you a rotation with Polaris where we're actually going to proc on the tier 3, okay? And so you can see the difference between proccing on tier 3 and actually canceling the tier 3 as far as your damage. So we're doing 2, 1, 3, 4, delay 5, right? Right? And I'm playing on my phone, by the way, because it's just a lot easier. Again, we're proccing on the tier 3, and I always try to make sure that I delay that 4 just slightly so you can get all that extra residual damage from that thing. All right? And you guys can look at the bars, the way they're moving right now, and you can already tell that it's really not that great. I know she doesn't have a ruse. I know she doesn't have, a big proc, a 110 proc. I know she doesn't have a fully awakened ISO set. But Kamala, all she had, guys, was a support from Shuri. In this run you're watching, Polaris has her leadership. Polaris has the extra 45% damage to supervillains. Polaris has the buff from Wave, an extra 50% damage to supervillains, which is a total of 95% extra to supervillains compared to what Kamala had, on top of the 45% increased attack from Polaris' leadership. It is insane difference in buffs, and I have 20% more energy attack on my card, right? It's just insane difference, and yet you'll notice that Kamala can do just as good as Polaris with all these extra buffs. She does just as good, right? Then that's not really that good for Polaris, right? Like, she's going to be one of those characters that I think is going to be a very, very good support for your mutant allies, but and maybe slightly, maybe sub DPS. She can put in some work and do some sub DPS work for you if you need to bring her in. Maybe when the cage shows up, you want to bring her in during against Null. You want to do a little extra damage. She'll be all right, right? She can put in a little work, but she's nothing. She's not OP, guys. She's not ridiculous. She's not outlandish. And as you guys can see, man, she does take a lot of damage. Like, it's a lot. She really needs a better heal. I think that would have benefited her a lot. But at the same token, the fact that this character is such a good support for mutants does make her worth leveling up. I mean, that's essentially what you're going to level the character up for, other than the waifu status, right? I mean, other than being a waifu, that's really what you're going to level her up for. And, you know, you guys can see we're coming down the wire. We did this in 2 minutes and 30 seconds with Kamala, without a proc, without all these extra buffs, right? Without all these extra buffs, right? I mean, we put Kamala at a huge disadvantage, and yet still, you know, she did better than what you're seeing in this run, particularly, right? And I just wanted to show you guys this, you know, proccing on tier 3 isn't going to be the most optimal way to play Polaris. You're going to definitely do more damage whenever you cancel the tier 3. Right, well, let's just move it along a little bit here. There we go. And there you go. I mean, guys, it took 2 minutes and 50 seconds. That is way too long. 2 minutes and 50 seconds, all right? So now let me show you what she does whenever you use a proper rotation and you're actually canceling the tier 3, okay? All right, so 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. There we go. All right. Okay, now we'll go ahead and hit that 1 and 2 in there again. I like to do the 1, 2, the 2 second, because it actually has a little bit of a partial iframe, does help with her survivability. And I also noticed that her survivability is a little bit better. Now, the only bad thing about this is we're going to do the tier 3 on the 3rd rotation, but after that, it'll be every other rotation. Oh, all right. And you definitely can see a difference in the damage whenever you just cancel the tier 3 and go into the 5th scale afterwards, because you're getting that damage proc on the 5th scale after getting all the residual damage and the buffs from the tier 3 combined, right? It just allows you to do more damage, especially over time, guys. You'll just do more damage, right? Remember, it took 2 minutes and 50 seconds for the previous run to be done, right? How fast is she going to do it now? And this here, actually, the other run was actually really well. I don't think I missed any procs. And in this run, I think I missed 2 procs, and still it was much, much faster. She does way, way better. There we go. We actually landed proc. Proc came a little bit late, but it does look like when you play her this way, guys, like when you cancel the tier 3, her survivability, if you notice with her heal, like as much life as she has, she actually is maintaining a much higher life threshold, right? She has a more of a HP threshold. She's doing much better, right? And that's another reason I think to play her this way. Okay, here we go. There we landed the proc again. I mean, I will say that Polaris is a pretty smooth character for the most part to play. It's a little bit of a tight rotation at times, but a pretty smooth character to play and a very fun character to play. I do love her. I do think she's really cool, and I do think she's really fun. Again, right? There, we actually missed the proc. It actually landed early, which does kind of suck. We lost a bit of damage because of that, right? Probably lost a good bar of damage because of that. Right? But, yeah, the fact that Kamala, guys, is doing just as good as this, with not near as many buffs, without having a damage proc, an obelisk on her, it really just goes to show you how strong Polaris actually is, which really isn't the greatest, right? I mean, but we are doing way better than we did in the last run. Way, way better. So, I mean, you know, it took 2 minutes and 50 seconds to do the last run when we were proccing on the tier 3, and in this run, it actually took 2 minutes and 30 seconds. This is the pretty much exactly the same time frame as it took me to use Kamala without having any buffs other than Shuri. That's the only buff she had was Shuri without even using an obelisk, right? So it's really not all that impressive when it comes to Polaris's damage. I mean, she is fun. Her skills are some of the most beautiful in the game. Like, I think she just looks just beautiful, and I love her animations. But that's really all she's going to be, guys, is a support for mutant allies for the most part. I mean, you can build her up. You can throw a mighty CTP of destruction on her, a mighty CTP of energy, actually, even because she does have invincibility on her fifth skill, and she'll play really well with that thing. She does a lot of hits. She'll get that extra chain hit damage, and I mean, she's not weak. She just isn't as strong as what we'd like her to be. You know, they're pretty much saving her, I guess, for a future uniform more than likely. But I do think the character is definitely worth leveling up because she really is a terrific buff for your mutant characters. So, guys, let me know what you think about Polaris. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. G2+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody.